Yeah, we're coming to your city. We're gonna play our guitars and sing you a country song. We'll all be flying higher than a jetliner. And if you want a little bang in your yin yang, come along.
Welcome along to Indiana Sports Beat. Thanks a lot for taking us along wherever you're going, whatever you may be doing. Thanks a lot for taking Indiana Sports Beat along for the ride. Jim Coyle sitting in with you as always. Justin Kalen high atop the Crew Chiefs box.
That's right.
Plenty to get to today. Another big Friday show as always. Drew Davis will be joining us. We'll also be talking to Mike DeCourcy from the Sporting News and the Big Ten Network. And, of course, our good friend Todd Leary will join us as we get ready to talk about Indiana as they travel to Minnesota tomorrow to take on the Golden Gophers. Before we get to all that, let's get to the headlines with Justin.
All right, here are your Daily Hoosier headlines for this 15th day of February 2019. Indiana women's basketball falls at Michigan last night 67-58. Bindu Yanni led the way with 16 points. In Big Ten action last night, Illinois defeats Ohio State 63-56. And Indiana men's basketball set to take on Minnesota tomorrow at the Barn at 2 p.m. Those are your Daily Hoosier headlines for this 15th day of February 2019. For more information, make sure to check out thedailyhoosier.com.
Who'd you say beat Ohio State?
Illinois.
Rolling.
Yep.
What was it you said somebody said on, was it you that told me this?
Yeah, on social media last night?
Yes.
Yeah, some guy said Illinois is one of the top 9 to 15 best teams in the country.
First of all, that's funny. Secondly, where he happened to pull that particular juncture out, how they did not squeeze into the 16 to 20, but right into the 9 to 15. They're not even in the top 9 in the Big Ten.
People are funny.
Although they are coming. That's the program, Brad Underwood. Doing a good job over there. He's got some good recruiting classes coming, and you can tell they're playing well. And Illinois is a program that you may have to look out for in the future. Growth, progress. That's what you're seeing there. That's what that is. That's called growth and progress.
Tell me more about it.
Yeah, I'm not accustomed to seeing it, but that's what that is. But yeah, we'll see. They got a lot of programs. Nebraska, though, they may be heading in the wrong direction.
Yep.
They kind of seem like they hit a window, and that's about as good as they're going to get. I hear about some good recruits coming into Iowa, to Illinois. I'm not sure what's going on with Nebraska.
Nebraska did beat Minnesota the other night.
Okay. You got one bottom feeder
at
beating another
Nebraska.
bottom feeder. Road wins, doesn't matter where, is good in the Big Ten. I don't care if you're winning at Rutgers or at Minnesota. Those are tough wins. These teams are not devoid of winning.
Well, the way the Big Ten has played out this year, a win anywhere, whether it's on the road or at home, is a good win.
You got that right. Hit us up on the text line, 812-269-6367. Make sure to like or follow us on Facebook. You can catch the show there if you don't get to catch it live. Right now, of course. If you're listening live, you're listening on IndianaSportsBeat.com or, of course, Big X Sports Radio, WXPW. 1450, 96.1 in southern Indiana, Louisville area. We're also heard in Evansville on the Ref 97.7. But hit us up, like and follow us on Facebook. You can follow us on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Google, Spotify. I'm not sure if I missed anything.
I'm sure you have. It's hard to keep track of it all.
That's because we are
ubiquitous.
There you go. A lot to get to today, a lot to talk about. Jeff Mercer and IU baseball, they hit the road for the first time under the Jeff Mercer era for Indiana. They will be traveling to Memphis for a 3-game set. Baseball. We're talking about baseball.
Is that how bad it's gotten in the basketball world?
Yeah, kind of. It's also that time of spring, though. IU women's team went down last night to Michigan, as you heard Justin say earlier, 67-58. Tomorrow, the men's team travel to Minnesota. Minnesota, they're going to take on the Golden Gophers. Little Richard Pitino, little Richard and his squad. If Indiana could find a way, and they have the games there, If Indiana could win 5 out of their final 7, they still make the tournament. Yeah. Unbelievably, as crazy as that sounds, the wins are there. They have games against Minnesota, Illinois, Rutgers. Yeah, you got Michigan and Michigan State in there. No, you got Michigan State in there. You've got Wisconsin in there. You've got Purdue in there. Games that will not be easy to win, but are winnable. There's not a game that Indiana can't win, obviously.
But those 3 are at home. For what
At
it's
home.
worth. Although I want to make the argument that Indiana's played better on the road this year than they have at home.
They have certainly not played better at home. Not of late. Not since January. But hit us up on the text line, 812-269-6367. Comments, questions for Drew Davis, Mike DeCourcy, or Todd Leary. Big program today.
Yeah, it's loaded.
I always try to do Big Fridays. Of course, we try to do it big every day. Let us know what you're thinking, Travis. Hitting us up. Illinois, 10-15. Don't talk about progress. We're talking about progress. Exactly. Not sure if I understand that one, Travis. He's saying that they're 10-15. They have a losing record.
I'd venture to say that's a better record than they had last year already.
Yeah, they're improving, man.
Yeah.
Kind of saw that last year. I saw the recruits that he was bringing in. Got a 5-star landed. I think that's for next year.
Yeah. Big center.
So they're continuing to move forward, which is good. That's what you want from the conference, especially when you see your bottom feeders doing that. You know that the conference is going to remain strong and healthy. And a strong conference promotes a strong conference.
Well, that much is clear. I mean, if you paid attention to the bracketology at all this year, they've had 10 teams in the Big Ten a number of times this year. Now, that's not going to happen. But, I mean, the Big Ten should absolutely get 8, maybe even 9 teams in the tournament.
I'm going to go with 8. Nebraska's not going to make it.
Yeah, Nebraska kind of fell off.
Yeah, they really faded. And then I don't see Indiana making it because they have to win 5 out of 7 games. They've won 1 out of 9. Why do I think all of a sudden they're going to win 5?
Right.
I hope it does. I just don't think it's going to. Don't see it happen.
It's certainly hard to believe that at this point.
Thanks for the text, Travis. Hit us up on the text line, 812-269-6367. Travis is up and at it.
Way early.
Getting at it, man. Love it. Hope you guys have a great day and a great weekend planned. I don't know what's going on this weekend.
Nothing.
Boy, when the NFL leaves, it takes a minute for people to acclimate back to life.
I thought you were being facetious. There's all kinds going on this weekend. You got the Indiana game tomorrow,
Well, I know that.
Toddcast tomorrow night.
Speaking of which, Indiana basketball takes on Minnesota tomorrow at 2 o'clock. Of course, that game's on the road. They're at Minnesota. So we'll be at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville with After the Game with Todd Leary. Your chance to come out, be a part of the live audience. Talk to Todd if you wish. That's right, we got a Toddcast. Todd came up with that name. I got to give him credit. Pretty funny. But yeah, after the game with Todd Leary tomorrow after the Minnesota game, live from Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. We'll be up there. Looking forward to it. I'm just looking forward to eating at Bubba's. Love it. Can't get enough of it. But what else is going on this weekend?
NBA All-Star game.
You can't see me, but I'm looking around as if to say, and?
You don't enjoy any of it? The dunk challenge, the three-point contest? You don't like any of it?
It's
a big show.
Yeah, it's okay. All-Star games are not what they used to be.
No.
Guys used to play in all-star games. They used to compete. I mean, look back at baseball. You go back to Pete Rose, you're not going to know this, but leveling Bob Fosse at the plate in the 70 or 71 All-Star game. I remember it's a famous, he cleans his clock.
Well, and that's surprising because baseball didn't play for anything in their All-Star game.
Pride, baby. Those guys played to win every time out. It didn't matter what you were playing. That was the difference between then and now. But yeah, they used to play hard for all that stuff. It's not like the football All-Star game. What is what?
That's a joke.
Why do that?
It's a joke.
To give the guys a weekend over in Hawaii?
Right.
Just have a reunion. Heck.
Now, with the NFL, the skills challenge is fun to watch. But yeah,
the stuff around the game is fun.
But the actual game itself,
is terrible.
Yeah, I agree.
It's ridiculous. They're not going to go out there and get hurt.
Agreed.
Joker texted in as well. Jim, IU will make the tourney, exclamation point. Win out or lose out all Big Ten. Make the Big Ten tourney, no matter your record. Yeah, you can do that, but I don't see Indiana doing anything in the Big Ten
Indiana
tournament.
has never had success in the Big Ten
Never,
tournament.
ever. With good teams, without good teams, they've never won the Big Ten tournament.
They never even got close. I don't even know that they've been to the semifinals of the Big Ten tournament.
I think they have once. They were in the championship game once, I believe, against Iowa.
Yeah.
Around 91, I think. But, yeah, that would be great. Joker, it'd be nice, but, man, it's not that these are winnable games, obviously. Just 3 of them are the bottom feeders, but that doesn't mean anything now. Illinois, Rutgers, Minnesota, really? You got all those games? You got Purdue at home, Michigan State at home, Wisconsin at home. Come on, man. You got to buck up. You guys got to have some pride.
A lot of winnable games.
Play for pride. Let me see it. We got a lot coming up on the program today. Drew Davis is with us. Mike DeCourcy from the Sporting News. Todd Leary with us as well. All that and more here on Indiana Sports Beat. Back right after this.
Come Monday morning, I'll be broke again. It's finally Friday, I'm free again.
Hello, everybody. Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat. When I'm not covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, located on the northeast corner of I-65 at Veterans Parkway. Bubba's 33 has hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer from a select list of local craft brewers. An incredible food selection, all made fresh daily. Whether you're meeting the team for that post-win meal in the family dining area or meeting friends for happy hour to watch the game on one of Bubba's 50 TVs. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
Many medicines used to treat colds and flu contain acetaminophen, a pain reliever and fever reducer found in hundreds of over-the-counter and prescription medicines. But taking too much or more than one medication containing acetaminophen per day can damage your liver. So always read the label and don't take acetaminophen if you drink 3 or more alcoholic drinks every day. To learn more, visit fda.gov/OTC pain info. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Food and Drug Administration.
This is Jim Coyle with Indiana Sports Beat.
And I'm Justin Kalen with Indiana Sports Beat.
Justin, what's your favorite show?
It's got to be Indiana Sports Beat, but I'm not ever sure where to find it.
Well, you can always like and follow us on Facebook. Always follow the show rebroadcast on iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify. TheDailyHoosier.com is a great place to sign up for it each and every day. Or, of course, on Big X Sports Radio, 1450, 96.1 WXVW in Southern Indiana, and 97.7 The Ref in Evansville.
If you want to get your day off to a good start, then stop at Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart on Highway 150 in Floyd's Knobs. While you're filling your gas tank, you could fill your own tank with a hot breakfast or try one of Billy Joe's daily lunch special. Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart opens at 5 a.m. and everything is made fresh daily. And if you bring your own mug, coffee is only 50 cents. And Billy Joe's also has free air. The best place to start your day is at Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart on Highway 150 in Floyd's Knobs.
All across the country, people are coming together to speed up what we can learn about health. The All of Us Research Program is calling on 1 million people to join us as we try to change the future of health. For your family, for future generations, for all of us. Visit joinallofus.org and find out how you can become one in a million.
All right, crew, let's get her dug.
Honey, you want to give me a hand? I'm planting that tree, remember?
No matter how large or small your digging project may be, no matter how urban or rural, you must always call 811 before any digging project. 811 is our national one-call number, alerting your local utility companies to come out and mark any lines they have near your dig site. You must call 811 at least 2 to 3 business days before any digging project, so you can avoid hitting our essential buried utilities. This includes natural gas and petroleum pipelines, electric, communication cables, and water and sewer lines. So before you do this or this, make sure you do this. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811. Brought to you by Common Ground Alliance.
This hour is brought to you by Sweetland Waste and Removal Service, a homegrown company serving southern Indiana since 1995. Welcome back to Indiana Sports Beat here on this 15th day of February. Hit the midway point. Halfway through the coldest month of the year, right?
That's what they say.
Halfway to March, baby. Halfway to March. That's how you got to look at it. Jonathan Givony has a mock draft. I don't know if that's for ESPN or who, but he still has Romeo Langford at number 5. So people that keep asking, do you really think he's going to go? Yes. He's a first-round NBA draft pick. He gone. He gone. Forget it. He gone. It's over.
Just put it this way. If you have a job and you're making minimal money, and then they come at you and they say,
money? How about no money? You're not making any money.
Well, I mean, you get.
You're not getting cash.
We're not getting into athletes being paid.
You're not getting cash.
They're not getting cash. You're right.
You don't have cash to spend.
Right. Okay.
So,
but anyways, just imagine somebody coming to you at your job and being, I'll give you $3 million, and you go get a new job. You're still to be doing the same thing, but just at a higher level, and we're going to pay you $3 million.
Actually, but you don't have to go to school anymore.
Yeah.
You don't have to do any of that.
Exactly. You don't have to do
Just
any.
play basketball.
You don't have
all
to
you
do
got to do is work out and play basketball
Right.
every day. That's it.
Yep.
That's your job for $3 million.
I mean, anybody in America is going to jump on that opportunity.
Well, and then you got. I keep seeing people on social media, but the experience, like they're giving up the college experience. Who cares? He's playing on a mediocre at best college basketball team. For a team he doesn't care. He doesn't have lifelong affinity for. Yeah. Indiana's not his team. Indiana was not his first choice. He's only at Indiana because of how it fell together. He's only at Indiana because Rick Pitino got fired at Louisville.
That's about it.
And I'll be honest with you, he may have thoughts now wishing that he'd gone to Louisville instead because they're going to be playing in the NCAA tournament this year. Indiana will not be. But the point of the matter is, he's gone, man. He's a first-round draft pick. Everybody his shot's not the greatest in the world right now, but it's not because he can't shoot. He's got the talent. His shot it'll come around, and the NBA will work with that and fix him.
Well, that's the thing with not only Romeo, but guys going to the NBA out of college is everybody thinks to themselves, well, he needs another year. He needs another year. What makes you think that he's not going to get to improve at the NBA level as well?
That's the point. I'm like, what does he need another year for?
Right.
To get ready what? To start in the NBA?
Wherever he's at, he's going to improve.
They don't need you to be ready to start. They want you. They want to train you how they want to train you, not to see you be trained for another year in a completely different manner that they don't see fits in with what they're trying to do. And I assure you, the NBA level is a little different than what's going on at most colleges. It's another level. And they do it a little differently. And I'm sure they think they do it better. So they would rather, if they're going to be paying millions of dollars to somebody, they would rather be doing things the way they want them done. So he needs another year crap. Y'all got to get over that, man. Yep. Needs another year to do what? To be a great three-point shooter? What, so he can average 35 points a game and be the top player in the country? Yeah, that would have been great. But if he was better, if he could shoot three-point shots consistently right now, he would be averaging 30 points plus a game. He'd be averaging probably 32 points a game, which would make him far and away the best player in the country, the number one overall draft pick. It's just going to make him better. But he doesn't have to have that right now to be a damn good basketball player. He's the leading scorer among freshmen in the Big Ten. He's one of the top scorers in the Big Ten, period. Without this crazy three-point shot that people can't get over.
And that's the thing. People think Romeo needs another year for their own selfish reasons.
Oh, of course
Indiana's got a better shot next year if Romeo's on the team.
Well, but they're not going. They don't realize that's how they're looking at it.
Right.
That's exactly how they're looking at it. Another year does not benefit Romeo. It only benefits Indiana and their fans. But I wondered, is that the case? I don't know that Romeo's game is a college team game. I think they rely on him too much. Yeah. And I mean by the other players is what I mean. They don't step up. You saw what happened when Juwan Morgan went out, and they stepped up. They got Romeo. I think that I kind of saw that in high school. A lot of them, they looked to Romeo to, what you going to do now, man?
Yeah, I mean, in high school it makes sense, but at the Division I basketball level in college, it doesn't make sense. And that is what you see a lot of. Indiana's offense comes out stagnant, passing the ball around the perimeter, and then we get down to 7-8 seconds, and it's, give it to Romeo. He'll make something happen.
I was watching a game last night. It was Houston. Kelvin Sampson in Houston, who is, 22-1 right now?
Unbelievable.
Top 10 in the country. Took a Houston team. Took a Houston program that was basically non-existent. Had you ever heard of Houston being good in basketball?
Not in basketball.
Exactly.
Well, except for back in the day.
Not since Clyde Drexler. That's in the 80s.
Yeah.
What's he done? Turned him into a top 10 program. He's a hell of a coach. He's a hell of a coach, and he's doing a hell of a job. But one of the things I noticed watching them run their offense last night, there was a time where the ball was along the far baseline, and it came across along the baseline to the corner, and the guy that got the ball in the corner, there was a guy on the wing. But I noticed the guy on the wing was already ready to receive the ball from the guy in the corner before the guy in the corner got the ball. Anticipation, ready for the pass, ready for the ball, ready to make a play. That was what that offense was. I do not see a bit of that with Indiana. I see passes come like, you're throwing that to me. Oh, what? Well, I'm just standing here. What do you want me to do? Okay, I'm going to run around for a second. I don't understand this offense. I'll be honest with you. That does not mean it's bad. It just means I don't understand it. I'm still trying to get a good grip on what it is exactly that they're doing other than a lot of individual play. A lot of standing around. Just curious, though, because it's obviously they have a rhyme and a reason to what they're doing.
Did you feel that way last year about this team offensively when it comes to Archie Miller? That little confusion on the offensive end, not really sure what you're watching?
Man, they were so confused last year. It was they didn't have any talent last year at all.
No.
They have a little more talent this year. You've added Romeo. I mean, yeah, you added Rob Fennessy, but he's a freshman being a freshman. He has hit the freshman wall. He has not done much in the last several games. So you're not really adding much to last year's team. You've added Romeo. Well, adding Romeo to a 16-15 team is going to be worth a couple of games.
Yeah.
No one thought that. I didn't think that. And it's not just Romeo, though. This is where you got to add the fact of the injuries, the fact that Jerome Hunter is not playing, that Race Thompson is not playing. Two guys that expected to play a large role this year, not playing. It hurts because then you got to fall back on people that you did not expect to play.
No. And Race is one that I think it would benefit Indiana to see him sooner rather than later, just not only for the depth and size that he brings, but
not going to happen though.
For what's going forward.
I can only imagine the reason you have all of a sudden we have not heard. Have you heard a word about Race Thompson here late?
I believe Mike Schumann wrote an article in the Daily Hoosier a couple days ago. I'll have to look it up.
Please do, because he had the head injury that he had to deal with, and he finally was cleared, and he catches the flu a couple weeks back. Well, I'm shocked that they're not going to try to get a medical red shirt. You've got
medical hardship.
Well, it's the same difference. It's red. You're getting a medical red shirt because he doesn't have a regular red shirt to use. He's already done that. You've only got 7 games left?
Yep.
Why burn a season on 7 games? Now, could he make a difference? I don't know. I can't imagine that in 7 games, not playing all year long, he's going to make a difference. But
well, if he plays less than, I think 30% of the games, I think he can still qualify.
Well, he hasn't played a lick.
Now he could definitely still qualify.
But we'll see. I mean, yes, if you can dig that up, I'd be curious to see on what's going on with Race Thompson, because I have not seen or heard anything more about him of late. I need to reach out, but the season is still there. I mean, as hard as it is to imagine, they still have something to play for, man. The NCAA tournament is still within grasp. As unbelievable and hard as that is to say, it is because of the wins that they had earlier. Because now the NCAA, it doesn't matter if you win in November or February. That win counts the same. It didn't used to be that way. It used to be a lot more subjective. And they would not look at a win over Marquette in November like they would in February. Well, now they are. And that is huge for Indiana because Louisville could have really helped Indiana's cause with a win over Duke the other night. That would have really bolstered their resume some as well. But still a good win over Louisville, Marquette, Michigan State. 3 great wins. Someone texted yesterday. It was I have to pull it back up, but it was a great analogy that reminded Indiana of the Oklahoma team last year. I think they were like 18-14, made the tournament. They were controversial, like one of the last selections, but a very controversial selection. I think Indiana will fit right into that category if they can get the wins. What are they, 13 wins right now?
Yeah.
Got to win 5. Got to win 5. No doubt.
Well, and that's the thing with Indiana when it comes to the NCAA tournament is we mentioned the good wins, but there's really not a bad loss. I mean, there's some questionable losses, but I don't know that.
Losing at home to Nebraska. and
the way they
those
did,
are not,
yeah.
Those are not losses to Indiana State or Fort Wayne by double digits. So, yeah, I mean, well, how about Michigan?
Consider that a bad loss.
Well, the worst losses in Assembly Hall history.
Oh, the one at home? Yeah, okay. Okay, yeah. I had already blocked that one out of my memory. I don't want to remember that one.
Yeah. One of the worst losses in Assembly Hall history.
Yeah, that was bad.
23-point beatdown.
But, I mean, at the same time, it's Michigan, and they at the time, were a top 5 team in the country.
Who'd they just lose to?
Penn State.
Penn State. Where's Penn State in the Big Ten?
Dead last.
At the bottom. Anybody can be beaten on any given day, i.e. Indiana and East Lansing. It can happen. It's up to them, man. They have to decide whether or not they want to play, whether or not they're going to win. It's completely up to them, up to the players. But they have an opportunity to salvage this season. And it would be a great salvage job, I will tell you that. That would be unbelievable. And it would be huge for this program. Huge. It would be very important. It would help. It would be great to have that to roll into next season on. Because having missed the NCAA tournament the last couple of years, it's you can't be a good program and not be making the NCAA tournament.
3 straight years.
Can't. I'm sorry. It just unless you're being kept out by hell, there's people going through NCAA problems that aren't suffering like that.
Yeah.
But it's got to be rectified sooner rather than later. And I prefer the sooner rather than the later. Got a big program today. Drew Davis is on with us from Peaks.com, of course. Mike DeCourcy from the Sporting News and the Big Ten Network joins us. And as always, we'll talk to our good buddy Todd Leary. All that and more coming up here on Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle. We're back with more after this. Hello, everybody. Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat. When I'm not covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, located on the northeast corner of I-65 at Veterans Parkway. Bubba's 33 has hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer from a select list of local craft brewers. An incredible food selection, all made fresh daily. Whether you're meeting the team for that post-win meal in the family dining area or meeting friends for happy hour to watch the game on one of Bubba's 50 TVs. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
Many medicines used to treat colds and flu contain acetaminophen, a pain reliever and fever reducer found in hundreds of over-the-counter and prescription medicines. But taking too much or more than one medication containing acetaminophen per day can damage your liver. So always read the label and don't take acetaminophen if you drink 3 or more alcoholic drinks every day. To learn more, visit fda.gov/OTC pain info. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Food and Drug Administration.
This is Jim Coyle with Indiana Sports Beat.
And I'm Justin Kalen with Indiana Sports Beat.
Justin, what's your favorite show?
It's got to be Indiana Sports Beat, but I'm not ever sure where to find it.
Well, you can always like and follow us on Facebook. Always follow the show rebroadcast on iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify. TheDailyHoosier.com is a great place to sign up for each and every day. Or, of course, on Big X Sports Radio, 1450, 96.1 WXVW in Southern Indiana, and 97.7 The Ref in Evansville.
If you want to get your day off to a good start, then stop at Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart on Highway 150 in Floyd's Knobs. While you're filling your gas tank, you could fill your own tank with a hot breakfast or try one of Billy Joe's daily lunch special. Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart opens at 5 a.m. and everything is made fresh daily. And if you bring your own mug, coffee is only 50 cents. And Billy Joe's also has free air. The best place to start your day is at Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart on Highway 150 in Floyd's Knobs.
All across the country, people are coming together to speed up what we can learn about health. The All of Us Research Program is calling on 1 million people to join us as we try to change the future of health. For your family, for future generations, for all of us. Visit joinallofus.org and find out how you can become one in a million.
All right, crew, let's get her dug.
Honey, want to give me a hand? I'm planting that tree, remember?
No matter how large or small your digging project may be, no matter how urban or rural, you must always call 811 before any digging project. 811 is our national one-call number, alerting your local utility companies to come out and mark any lines they have near your dig site. You must call 811 at least 2 to 3 business days before any digging project, so you can avoid hitting our essential buried utilities. This includes natural gas and petroleum pipelines, electric, communication cables, and water and sewer lines. So before you do this or this, make sure you do this. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811. Brought to you by Common Ground Alliance.
Today's guest is brought to you by Reynolds Family Dentistry of Sellersburg. You need $1 million smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you'll get with Reynolds Family Dentistry.
You get a shiver in the dark.
Welcome back to Indiana Sports Beat. Thanks a lot for taking us along wherever you're going, whatever you may be doing. Thanks a lot for taking Indiana Sports Beat along for the ride. Joined now by our good friend Drew Davis from Peaks.com. Drew, how are you, brother?
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
Just trying to stay warm and get through this February. Can't complain. Other than that, got a weekend of college basketball on tap, some high school basketball this weekend, a lot going on. Indiana, I was talking about earlier, unbelievably, as hard as this is to say or believe, but they still have a shot at making the NCAA tournament if they could win games. They've got 7 games left. If they can win 5 of those, I think they make the tournament. But I don't think that they can win 5 games.
Right. And, that's one of the perks of playing in the Big Ten this year is, there's more chances to get quality wins, and that for Indiana's sake, that's probably very fortunate for them because they need a lot of opportunities like that, especially the way they're playing right now, and know that it's not going to be easy to get maybe 5 games down the stretch, but I mean it's certainly still possible, and Indiana is still holding on to life, I guess you could say.
Well, you've got games at home against Illinois, against Rutgers. Those are teams at the bottom of the conference, which hasn't meant a whole lot this year, but at least that's better than playing the Michigans of the world. Although you have a game against Purdue, that's a rivalry game, so you can kind of throw out records and whatnot. Then you've got a team in Michigan State at home that you've already beaten once. So the opportunities are definitely there. It's just whether or not those opportunities have been there. They were there against Ohio State. They were there against Iowa. They were there against Nebraska at home. And they've lost 4 straight. So just because the opportunity is there does not mean this team's going to take advantage of it. But the opportunity to make the NCAA tournament is still a viable one for Indiana.
Yeah, and you also look at Indiana's wins over Marquette. Really good win. You look at the win over Louisville, looks really good on paper, and then you have a road win over Michigan State and a neutral site win over Butler. That certainly has got to help your cause as well.
Of course. Well, and it's well known. But the big thing is now they have to win. Win and you're in, and don't and you're out. But also, if they don't win these games, they're going to be struggling to make the NIT.
Right. You know, I mean, if Indiana probably loses, let's say, 5 of these, they're definitely not going to make the NIT, and just it gyps you out a little bit of experience and a little bit of extra reps and games for some of your guys that are going to be a part of your program moving forward, and that's kind of something Archie Miller isn't going to be too thrilled about.
Yeah, I noticed. I posted, or I was talking about earlier that Jeff Rabjohns had posted that Jonathan Givony still has Romeo as the number 5 pick on his NBA mock draft board, and so that should really answer any questions that anybody has on whether or not Romeo is coming back. I don't see that it is a question personally, but I think that he's definitively gone in my mind. But
most definitely.
And I don't know that that's a bad thing, because I think that this team may rely on him too much. And we saw what happens when Juwan Morgan went down, and they stepped up and played very, very well against Michigan State. But it's like Romeo's there; they just depend on him to do too much, and the rest of the team is not really producing. So I don't know. It's going to be weird to see an Indiana team without Romeo next year after having seen him with them. But after a 16-15 season, they're only going to get a bump barely in wins-losses. So I don't, with what they have coming in next year and what they're losing this year, what does Indiana fans have to look forward to next season?
No, I was talking about this yesterday. I think a lot of Indiana fans are going to look at next year and be like, oh, Indiana will be better next year. But I don't think, as an Indiana fan, your expectations could be through the roof for next year. You're going to have some young guys come in. Say you do get Keon Brooks, and you already have Trish Jackson Davis in the fold, and Armand Franklin's going to be a good player. But those are 3 young guys, and it's hard to win with freshmen, and I think people overlook that. And
well, it's hard to win if your freshmen are not.
Yeah, they're not
RJ Barrett or
RJ Barrett,
Cam Reddish, those guys.
Not everyone is dropped onto a college campus and not ready to compete at the college level, and most freshmen, it takes time, and I think year 4 is where Indiana really needs to be focusing on, and I think next year's a year where one of those situations where the team is playing a lot better basketball at the end of the year than they were at the beginning of the year, because the experience and age that over the course of the season, and that experience is just so valuable for a young team, and they always tend to get better at the end of the year.
Yeah, but that's one thing about this Indiana team. I haven't seen them get better. To me, they're playing the same ball, if not worse, than they were a month ago.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. I think at this point, you look at this Indiana team and you say, I mean, it is what it is. And, you got 2 players that could really score the basketball, and, inconsistent. Indiana kind of has had an inconsistent go of things, trying to find a third option, and, an inconsistent go of things, trying to get consistent bench production. And it's not a recipe for success, and Indiana's had that issue all year long. It's never easy when you're searching for people to knock down shots. You're searching for people to put the ball in the basket.
Archie obviously knows he's in some serious trouble with shooting-wise. He does not have shooters on this team. And I know that next year he doesn't have you got Armand Franklin, but coming in. But right now, that's it as far as somebody that can shoot the basketball. I know he's recently offered Harlan Beverly, and they've got some other guys out there. I think they're going to end up bringing 4 guys in a minimum next season, by the way. But they've got to bring a shooter in, or 2 or 3. But a shooter has to come in. I know Armand Franklin's one of those, but they can't. They need as much as they can get.
Oh yeah, certainly, and I think Indiana tries to maybe dip into the transfer pool, but the one thing with that situation is it can be harder for Indiana to get transfers into the school, and you know how that goes. And then I think, like you said, 4 is certainly that's a reality, but maybe even 5 guys. We'll have to wait and see. And I think it kind of depends on what happens with Harlan Beverly, and if they're able to get traction there, as but they offered them
coming in late like that. What are the options, or not options, but what's the likelihood of Indiana coming in late like this on Harlan Beverly?
Right. You see they offered him the other day, but at the same time, Harlan Beverly didn't need that offer to be able to commit to Indiana. If he would have wanted to commit, months ago, they would have rejoiced and gladly taken him. And,
right. But what I'm saying is they're getting in this late on this. They're getting in this late. Why would Indiana have any traction over the guys that have been recruiting him heavily this entire time?
Well, Indiana's been recruiting Harlan Beverly, heavily. They just hadn't offered yet, and people make a lot out of offers sometimes, and I don't think that was a situation where it was a huge deal, because, like I said, they would have taken him regardless if he already had an offer on the table. But Indiana's been building a relationship with him for a while, even going back to the summer, going back to when you think about Indiana was recruiting DJ Carton, they were still looking at a Harlan Beverly and kind of recruiting him a little bit, in just in case, for whatever reason you missed out on DJ Carton, and that did happen. And, Indiana's, they've been, you go back to July, Archie Miller is watching Harlan Beverly there, and I think that just speaks that Indiana's been, kind of looking and kind of just feeling around with him for a while, and they like him as a player, and they think he can help them win games next year.
Well, it would certainly be a great help, but they've got this is Archie's offense is one that anybody's offense has to have shooters, and this team obviously has none, and I think that is such a glaring thing on this team, and it's making this team look way worse than they are. Right,
it comes down to make or miss, honestly, and if you can't put the ball in the basket, things are just a lot harder. I mean, you look on the offensive end, you don't have shooters. It kills spacing. You look at Ohio State, and in that game, they're basically playing an inverted V, packing the lane at one point. Juwan Morgan have 2-3 guys, collapsing down on them. I mean, it's just really hard without shooters, and it really just throws the whole offense out of rhythm. And I do see the creativity being there. I do see the team and getting some quality looks through stuff Archie's ran. But I think that gets overlooked at times. Guys are simply just they're simply not knocking down shots, and that just makes things very difficult if you're a coach.
Absolutely. Turning to preps this weekend, we're getting closer to the tournament in Indiana, but what's going on this weekend high school basketball-wise? Who's where as far as big-time recruits out there playing?
Yeah, the draw will be coming up this weekend, I believe, Sunday night. Teams will find out who they play in the sectionals. They still have that 1 week to go, and you'll have a bunch of guys in action tonight. You got Trace Jackson Davis, who's closing in on the end of his senior year. He's playing some good basketball, and he doesn't have a ton of help from his guards, but the thing with Trace is he just kept going at it. He's been playing really well, and he is, I think people, something they don't realize about Trace is I think he could shoot the ball much better than people realize. I mean, at the high school level, you look at a guy like that, and you got to realize, they don't really need to shoot a jump shot. There's no reason to, because he can get whatever he wants around the rim. And that's the thing, I've seen him, whether it's in practice or even in warm-ups when he's getting a contest against, teammates in one of those type of drills. He's got good form, and he showed good touch, and I think that's something people will be kind of surprised about moving forward. I think that's an area of his game that's, going to keep improving, because that's an area that he's been working on. And then, as we mentioned, Armand Franklin will also be in action tonight, and I can't really say enough about how much he's improved as a player this year. Armand is really shooting the ball well. The shots, kind of look a little different. I think his release is quicker. He's a guy that I'm sitting here thinking if everything goes right in Indiana and he develops best case scenario, he could be an all-league player if things go right. And I think that's certainly something to keep watching and continue to watch his improvement. But he certainly has a chance. And then a guy that also played very well the other night. He'll be in action tonight. Is Christian Lander from Evansville Wright, 5-star point guard. Was terrific in that game against Mount Vernon. I think he had 35 points, and he showed off some explosiveness and athleticism, and he really played at his own pace, dictated the pace of the game, and ran the show like a true point guard, and was able to score as well. And I thought that was certainly one of his better outings of the season. But there's a lot of guys that Indiana's recruiting that have been playing well. You look at the game last night when Marion and Fort Wayne Blackfoot met. Jalen Blackman and Caleb First in action, and I think 27 points. And, played a solid game on the offensive end, and Caleb First had maybe 25. He was able to, fight through double teams and pass out of that as well. He's a really good player, but there's a lot of guys playing well right now that are on Indiana's radar.
Drew, a text into the show yesterday talking about Keon Brooks, his last home game is February 20th, or his last regular season game. What kind of postseason do those prep schools play?
Right. Lalu will play their last regular season game, not this Friday, but the next. And then there's a long break. I believe the first week of April will be Dick's Nationals up in Christ the King High School in New York.
Wow.
Lalu wins, takes care of business against Culver Academy tonight, and wins next week. I think they have 2 games. They'll be the number 1 seed in the tournament, be the number 1 seed in the country. And, I think you have to win 3 games to win the tournament. And, you'll be playing the top 8 teams in the country will be there, or top 8 eligible teams in the country, I should say, because some states don't allow, teams to play in it. But he'll have a little bit of a layoff, and, I think that, could have some developments in his recruitment could take place because, I think what people often overlook is, Keon Brooks can't sit around the dinner table every night and break down things about his recruitment with his family. He's at a prep school right now, and he's away from home, and I think he probably would have been down with this recruitment if he was in a high school setting because it's easier to talk about stuff like that when you're home, and Keon will have some opportunities to get back to Fort Wayne and be able to break some things down with his family, and I think that could lead to some developments potentially before the end of the high school season. And we'll just have to see what happens here after next Friday's last regular season game.
Yeah, and if that's the case, then the commitment may get pushed into March. If that doesn't come sometime soon, as we approaching the second half of February here. Do you think he waits? How long do you think he waits to announce his commitment?
That's what's a little up in the air right now, to be honest. I don't think anyone really knows what Keon is doing on the when and where because he hasn't made an official decision yet. Here's the thing with Keon is he could do it after the end of his high school regular season, but he could also opt to wait until the three games in April that Dick's Nationals have played. That's on the table, but we'll wait and see what he wants to do there and then what he has to say about his timeline and whatnot.
Absolutely. Drew Davis from Peaks.com. I appreciate you, brother. Look forward to it. Have a great weekend.
You too, man. I look forward to talking to you on Monday.
Have a good one. Drew Davis from Peaks.com joins us, as always, talking recruiting in Indiana basketball. We've got a lot coming up on the program today. Mike DeCourcy from the Sporting News will be joining us, also of the Big Ten Network. You see him quite a few nights. Todd Leary also on the program today, as we'll talk about Indiana basketball as they head up to Minnesota tomorrow. Make sure to like or follow us on Facebook, Indiana Sports Beat. You can find us there. If you can't catch the show live on a great station like Big X Sports Radio, 1450, 96.1, WXVW, you can always catch the show on IndianaSportsBeat.com, TheDailyHoosier.com, GruelingTruth.net. You can find us on Facebook as well, in addition to Spotify, Google Play, iTunes, iHeartRadio. We are
ubiquitous.
Everywhere, baby. But we got a lot more coming up on the program today. As I said, Drew Davis, or Mike DeCourcy, and Todd Leary yet to come. So stay tuned. Hit us up on the text line as well, 812-269-6367. We got plenty more. We'll be coming back with that right after this. Hello, everybody. Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat. When I'm not covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, located on the northeast corner of I-65 at Veterans Parkway. Bubba's 33 has hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer from a select list of local craft brewers. An incredible food selection, all made fresh daily. Whether you're meeting the team for that post-win meal in the family dining area or meeting friends for happy hour to watch the game on one of Bubba's 50 TVs. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
Many medicines used to treat colds and flu contain acetaminophen, a pain reliever and fever reducer found in hundreds of over-the-counter and prescription medicines. But taking too much or more than one medication containing acetaminophen per day can damage your liver. So always read the label and don't take acetaminophen if you drink 3 or more alcoholic drinks every day. To learn more, visit fda.gov/OTC pain info. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Food and Drug Administration.
This is Jim Coyle with Indiana Sports Beat.
And I'm Justin Kalen with Indiana Sports Beat.
Justin, what's your favorite show?
It's got to be Indiana Sports Beat, but I'm not ever sure where to find it.
Well, you can always like and follow us on Facebook. Always follow the show rebroadcast on iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify. TheDailyHoosier.com is a great place to sign up for each and every day. Or, of course, on Big X Sports Radio, 1450, 96.1 WXVW in Southern Indiana, and 97.7 The Ref in Evansville.
If you want to get your day off to a good start, then stop at Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart on Highway 150 in Floyd's Knobs. While you're filling your gas tank, you could fill your own tank with a hot breakfast or try one of Billy Joe's daily lunch special. Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart opens at 5 a.m. and everything is made fresh daily. And if you bring your own mug, coffee is only 50 cents. And Billy Joe's also has free air. The best place to start your day is at Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart on Highway 150 in Floyd's Knobs.
All across the country, people are coming together to speed up what we can learn about health. The All of Us Research Program is calling on 1 million people to join us as we try to change the future of health. For your family, for future generations, for all of us. Visit joinallofus.org and find out how you can become one.
We're coming to your city. Gonna play our guitars and sing you a country song. We'll all be
Welcome along to Indiana Sports Beat on this 15th day of February. Thanks a lot for taking us along wherever you're going, whatever you may be doing. Thanks a lot for taking Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle along for the way. Sitting in with you as always, I am Jim Coyle. Justin Kalen, high atop the crew chief's box.
That's right.
Make sure you hit us up on the text line, 812-269-6367. Any thoughts, comments, questions? We got a big show as always. Mike DeCourcy from the Sporting News will be along with us, also from the Big Ten Network. As you see Mike there in the evenings. Todd Leary, our good friend, will be with us as well, former Hoosier great, as we talk some Indiana basketball, a lot to get to. Before we get to all that, let's get to the headlines with Justin.
All right, here are your daily Hoosier headlines for this 15th day of February 2019. As Indiana women's basketball falls again at Michigan last night, 67-58. Bindu Yaney led the way for the Hoosiers with 16 points. In Big Ten action last night, Illinois defeats Ohio State 63-56, and Indiana men's basketball set to take on Minnesota at the Barn tomorrow at 2. Those are your daily Hoosier headlines for this 15th day of February 2019. For more information, make sure to check out thedailyhoosier.com.
Yeah, earlier I'd said that Indiana had lost to Michigan by 23 at home this year. That's not the case. I don't know why I had that in my head, but
yeah, it was 23.
They lost by 23?
69-46. So Michigan has beaten Indiana by a combined 34 points this year.
All right. Well, Jeff's confused. He's got me confused.
No, the game at Indiana was 69-46.
Oh, that's why I had said that
Yeah.
they lost by 23 at home.
Right, yeah. You're right. Don't let him confuse you. You're right.
Yeah, I am confused. Oh, well, I stay confused. But thanks a lot for the text anyway, Jeff. Yeah, hit us up on the text line, 812-269-6367. Comments, questions. Todd Leary is going to be on the program today, former Hoosier great. Mike DeCourcy from the Sporting News, also the Big Ten Network. Look forward to talking to Mike. Enjoy seeing him on the Big Ten Network. He does a good job there. A lot of action going on this weekend, whether it's prep or on the college front. Indiana travels to Minnesota Saturday. And speaking of that, it's a road game, so we're going to be on the road. Todd Leary, after the game with Todd Leary, will be in Clarksville, Indiana, at Bubba's 33. So if you're in the area and you want to be a part of the live audience, feel free to pop in, watch the game. We're going to be there doing the show afterwards, so look forward to doing that. Plenty to get to. Looking forward. Always fun talking to Todd, as always. He's quite the character.
To say the least.
Indiana women's basketball took it on the chin last night. They lose to Michigan 67-58. Man, they've kind of hit a little slide of late. I think they're still going to have a good overall season, but
Big Ten's been rough to them as well.
it has. Conference play is never easy, man. No matter where you go, it's always tough. Yeah, Jeff Mercer, baseball coach for the Hoosiers, gets that his era begins this weekend as the baseball team travels to Memphis for a 3-game set this weekend.
You know the baseball team has 9 pitchers from the state of Indiana?
The fact that they have 9 pitchers, that's all. How many players on the team are there?
Oh, from Indiana?
No.
Oh, total?
Yes.
60?
Really?
I'd say.
On a baseball team?
Yeah.
You only need 9.
60 may be a little high, but I bet they have at least 40.
That's probably
I mean, your
closer-
pitching
that's
staff.
probably closer to it, and the pitchers would be
Pitcher
20,
staff probably
25% of that.
16, 17, 18 pitchers, yeah.
Well, there you go. But their first 3-game set this weekend against Memphis, so they got a lot coming back. They've made the NCAA tournament every year but once, I think, since
2014 or something?
13. So, but they had a good team last year. I think they got a lot coming back from last year, so they should be pretty decent.
Be interesting to see how it plays out for old what's the head coach? Mercer. There we go.
Oh, I use that coach? Yeah, Jeff Mercer. Also, well, as an assistant, they have Scott Rowland.
Pretty cool.
Former All-Star, Jasper, Indiana native. MLB, that's a pretty good assistant coach to have.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Did Indiana have to give him an assistant job just because he helped pay for the renovations at the new stadium? I think he was the guy that paid for the the dugouts, I believe.
No, if that's the case, then Victor Oladipo and Cody Zeller and
Could
Andy
you imagine?
Moore,
Let's go. Victor can't
Tim
play
Garl,
for
all those guys would be Ned Fowl. He'd be an assistant coach.
Victor can't play for a year. Let's get him as assistant for 1 year.
Yeah. No, I mean why would you not want him as assistant? My
Right.
God, he's a great Major League Baseball player.
Yep.
How would you? The thing is, he didn't play for Indiana. He's from Jasper, but nice. That's a great connection for Indiana baseball. I think that could be huge for them. I got to stop saying huge.
Scott Rowland's such a great guy too.
Just great talent to have around. When you have that kind of talent, it has to rub off.
Yeah.
Leads me back to Indiana's basketball, man. What's rubbing off there? I think that, losing's one thing, and losing sucks. Nobody likes to lose, and the Hoosier Nation is not happy with the losing. But it's not just the losing. It's how these games are being lost. But I think a lot of that is perception. People think they don't care. I know they care. They're just not a very emotional type of team. They're not very exhibitive with things. But hopefully they can get it turned around, because Indiana basketball, unbelievably, is still in line for the NCAA tournament, as hard as that is to believe. And yes, it is hard to believe.
Yeah.
I'm the first one to tell you that's hard to believe. But because of the wins, because of the fact that those wins are looked at with just as importance of not, or if they came in November or February, they still have a shot if they can win games. That's a huge if, because they haven't won games of late. They've won 1 of 9. So to have to win 5 of 7, good luck with that. I hope it happens.
It's got to start tomorrow.
Love to see it, but it's got to start tomorrow. And I don't know. They have nothing else to wait for. If they lose, they won't have anything to play for. So it's got to start tomorrow.
For what it's worth, Minnesota's coming in on a 4-game losing streak.
I don't know that any of that matters. They're getting just the medicine they need. A visit from Indiana, who's lost 9 out of 10. So something's got to give. Indiana's lost, I don't know, is it 8 out of 9 or 9 out of 10?
Yeah, 8 out of 9.
So you just got some losers here. You just got some bottom feeders battling tomorrow. What you have tomorrow is a battle to not play on Wednesday in the Big Ten tournament. That's what tomorrow is. Tomorrow is to stay out of the cellar. Right now, Indiana is 1 step out of the cellar. They're 5 from the bottom. That bottom 4, that's who plays on Wednesday in the Big Ten tournament.
They have lost 9 of 10, by the way. Oh, they're for what it's worth, they're already in the bottom 4.
Oh, they are?
At this point, yeah. Rutgers jumped them. Rutgers jumped them.
Who they lost to?
Who, Rutgers?
Yeah.
Oh, they have 9 conference losses. So, I mean, they've lost to a lot of everybody, but, I mean, they've got 5 conference wins, so they're a half game above Indiana.
No, I meant, didn't Indiana already lose to Rutgers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct. Oh, who they lost. I got you. But they do get one more shot at them.
Yeah, but that's at home where they've lost 4 straight. So, it's on, man, it's up to them. It's on their shoulders. It is totally, they have their destiny in their own hands. Yeah. Now, not only do you have to forget about the fact that you're playing for the NCAA tournament. You're playing for your tournament life, period. Because if they fail to make the NCAA tournament, they're probably going to fail to make the NIT. It's a very, very thin line right there. You don't have to win 5 games to go to the NIT. You probably got to win 3.
Would the NIT benefit this team if they're not able to go to the NCAA tournament? Is this a team that would benefit from the NIT moving forward?
No.
I don't
think this team benefits from anything.
Yeah.
This team doesn't benefit from daily practice. They have not. I have not seen a team progressing. This team progress. So no, I don't think anything benefits this team.
I agree.
You don't have all the parts that you need. You got guys that are hurt, not playing, can't use them. Limit you. And then when you're limited to certain pieces that obviously Clifton Moore had made a little run there for a while, but we haven't seen him. Didn't see him much the other night, did we?
No.
Demezy Anderson. Waiting for one of these guys to have a breakout game, you know?
Demezy has to lose the ponytail. I think that's where his season got lost. When he came out at the beginning of the season and he just had the locks flowing, he was playing a lot better. It's one of the little things. It's like Archie Miller switching from Smart Water and actually drinking Dasani now. He needs to go back to the Smart Water.
Where are you picking this stuff up? This stuff is so crazy.
I just watch it on the sidelines. I mean, Archie, every press conference he had his Smart Water. He kept it below him, and he would pull it up and take a drink, put it right back down on the floor because that's not a sponsor of Indiana.
You remind me of the fan that was messaging me, Jim, next time you talk to Archie, ask him why he doesn't wear red to Indiana games. Now, fans, we want to see him wearing red. And I'm like, I haven't really paid attention to his clothing attire. I think he wears suits to the games with a white shirt.
When a season has gone off the rails like this, you've got to look for any kind of superstition you can.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. I was like, what? What? That's your concern right now?
He does wear a white tie, yeah. Or a red tie.
Yes, I know. That's why I'm like, first of all, who cares? Who cares? And then this is what you're concerned about right now? This is your concern?
Next to the one I'm wearing the candy stripes on the sidelines.
I don't care what he wears. I just want him to win. But it's just funny. Funny stuff. Hey, we got a lot coming up on the show today. Like I said, Mike DeCourcy from the Big Ten Network and the Sporting News joins us next. Todd Leary's on the show today. Plenty to get to. Get your questions in on the text line, 812-269-6367. We'll be back with lots more here on Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle right after this.
I got my motor running for a wild weekend. It's finally Friday, I'm out of control. Forget the working blues.
Hello, everybody. Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat. When I'm not covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, located on the northeast corner of I-65 at Veterans Parkway. Bubba's 33 has hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer from a select list of local craft brewers. An incredible food selection, all made fresh daily. Whether you're meeting the team for that post-win meal in the family dining area or meeting friends for happy hour to watch the game on one of Bubba's 50 TVs, Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
Many medicines used to treat colds and flu contain acetaminophen, a pain reliever and fever reducer found in hundreds of over-the-counter and prescription medicines. But taking too much or more than one medication containing acetaminophen per day can damage your liver. So always read the label and don't take acetaminophen if you drink 3 or more alcoholic drinks every day. To learn more, visit fda.gov/OTC pain info. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Food and Drug Administration.
This is Jim Coyle with Indiana Sports Beat.
And I'm Justin Kalen with Indiana Sports Beat.
Justin, what's your favorite show?
It's got to be Indiana Sports Beat, but I'm not ever sure where to find it.
Well, you can always like and follow us on Facebook. Always follow the show rebroadcast on iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify. TheDailyHoosier.com is a great place to sign up for it each and every day. Or, of course, on Big X Sports Radio, 1450, 96.1 WXVW in Southern Indiana, and 97.7 The Ref in Evansville.
If you want to get your day off to a good start, then stop at Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart on Highway 150 in Floyd's Knobs. While you're filling your gas tank, you could fill your own tank with a hot breakfast or try one of Billy Joe's daily lunch special. Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart opens at 5 a.m. and everything is made fresh daily. And if you bring your own mug, coffee is only 50 cents. And Billy Joe's also has free air. The best place to start your day is at Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart on Highway 150 in Floyd's Knobs.
All across the country, people are coming together to speed up what we can learn about health. The All of Us Research Program is calling on 1 million people to join us as we try to change the future of health. For your family, for future generations, for all of us. Visit joinallofus.org and find out how you can become one in a million.
All right, crew, let's get her dug.
Honey, when
Today's guest is brought to you by Reynolds Family Dentistry of Sellersburg. You need $1 million smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you'll get with Reynolds Family Dentistry. Welcome back to Indiana Sports Beat on this 15th day of February. We're halfway through a cold month. Get through that. But joined now by the great Mike DeCourcy from the Sporting News, Big Ten Network. You'd see him if you watch Big Ten Network after the games. You get to see his analysis and breakdown. We're very fortunate to have Mike with us. Mike, thank you, sir. Appreciate you.
Good morning. How are you?
Great, great. How's in Mike's world today?
It's early in Mike's world today.
It definitely is. Definitely is. Thank you so much, sir. Appreciate you, Mike. Looking forward to getting to see you recently on Big Ten. But Indiana's season has not gone the way most people has expected. But unbelievably, I've been talking about this earlier today, they still have an outside shot at making the NCAA tournament if they could win games, which is the biggest part of that equation. But the fact that they could still make the tournament blows my mind.
Well, it speaks to a couple things. First of all, the challenge of playing in the Big Ten, the fact that they did very well in November and December, and the fact that there's still a lot of season left in a lot of ways. I mean, honestly, I don't consider it to be an outside shot if they can win games. If they can win games, I will be surprised if they don't get in. But at the same time, based on their performances of late, I would be surprised if they win games. I mean, not any games, but a sufficient number to get to the point where they would be likely to be included.
Yeah, they've lost 9 out of 10, so having to win 5 out of 7 is a daunting task for these guys. And that's another thing. How they're losing these games so close. It's not having – the last 2 games they've lost, if they simply make 2 more shots and get 1 stop, they win both those games. That's how close they have been.
Yeah, except that, I mean, you're playing at home. You shouldn't be constantly playing from behind, especially against a team that offensively is not overwhelming. I mean, Ohio State struggles to score baskets last night against Illinois, a team that gave up 90-plus to Rutgers in regulation. And they struggled to score baskets, and yet Indiana was behind them the entire game. So from that standpoint, they need to play with greater confidence at home. They don't play with any confidence at home at all. They fall behind. They fell behind Nebraska. They fell behind Ohio State. They fell behind Iowa. They don't play with any confidence at home. And that's you said 5 of 7. I think they could get in at 4-3, but I don't see them trending in that direction. I don't see any reason to believe that they are likely to win 4 of 3. Go 4-3 heading into the Big Ten tournament. They just have not played with that kind of belief in themselves. Their offense is stagnant. You talked about getting 1 more stop. How about not getting faked out on a simple dribble handoff fake? I mean, you protect the rim. I mean, how does Justin Smith allow himself to get back cut like that on the decisive play for Indiana. I don't know what you're doing this far into your career to get faked like that. You're one of the problems Indiana has that I noticed in the Ohio State game is, and this is kind of ironic because there were at least 3, probably 5 occasions in the Ohio State game when Indiana just, not necessarily by trapping or anything like that, but just being, in the right place at the right time, one of the players was able to drop off, get a deflection, and the ball was in play for a second. It wasn't that it was on the ground or anything, but it was like jostled loose. And if you went after it at that point, then there was a chance you'd get a turnover. And every single time they did that, there were at least 3 and possibly 5. What did they do instead of going after the basketball and trying to create a turnover? They immediately said, "Okay, now I got to get back to my man." I mean, that's a team that's full of players that are not playing with any belief in themselves. They're more concerned about what's happening behind them. And then, ironically, instead of worrying about his assignment, you have Justin Smith go for the dribble handoff fake and get back cut and give up a dunk to decide the game.
Well, this is the same guy that lost his shoe a few games back with his man at the rim, and instead of maintaining his defensive presence, he was more concerned with his shoe, and while he was doing that, his man was laying the ball in for an easy layup. And that goes right along with this. I don't know how in the world a second-year player is making these kinds of mistakes, and they are. And so now that begs the question, is it the players? Is it simply needing new personnel? Because there's obviously a disconnect here of not grasping basic fundamentals of what needs to be done in these games.
I don't think that's universal, though. I don't see that from Juwan Morgan. I don't think he lacks basic fundamentals. I think he's doing everything he can to win, and in many occasions, because of the absence for so long or the limited availability for so long of Deron Davis, I think Juwan was asked to do more than he was capable of doing. And that's not the coach's fault. I mean, he had one backup big guy and with 2 more on the bench sideline basically for the year. And then that backup big guy's gone, and then so all he can do is ask Juwan to do everything he can. I don't see Robert Finney, although I see on the occasion Robert was involved in some of those plays I described before about the concern about your assignment more than about the opportunity in front of you. I don't think he's making fundamental errors. So I don't think this is a universal problem. I think there are particular players on there who are not progressing in the way that they should. But I don't think that it's a universal thing. I think there are several players in that rotation that are doing everything they can, although at times with limited confidence in the ability, in their ability to affect the game or in the team's ability to move forward.
Yeah, and Deron Davis's play of late has been one of the few inspiring things. He has really come on and given some great efforts in the minutes he's given. Surprisingly, did not expect to see him back this strong this soon, but he's somebody that I could see starting for this team in this stretch because he really gives them some offensive presence, at least, when he's in there.
Yeah, when I appeared on a show earlier this week on Banner Mondays, I said that that I thought that they might, given their struggles early in games, I mean, early in halves as well, at least last week, I would consider going big and trying to get started that way because right now the starting lineup they're using, I mean, how often has it worked? It worked in the Maryland game. How long ago was that? A month?
It worked once in the last 10 games.
Yeah, I mean, they're not getting off to good starts. So, they changed by necessity away from Zach McRoberts because he was injured, and they made the move there. That hasn't fixed it. So I think at the next thing you do is you go big, and you play Juwan and Deron together. Now I know that I know why they didn't want to do that, but I do think they have to consider it as an option. I mean, the reason they don't want to do that is because if you do that, then you can't exchange Deron for Juwan and stay big. What do you do? I mean, how at some point you're going to have to have both those guys out maybe. And I think that's a very difficult proposition for them. I mean, they've had to do it in the past because Duran was unavailable, but those moments weren't good for them. So I understand why he hasn't done that yet. I just don't know that you can continue to put yourself in holes and try to have to build out of them, especially when you're playing on your home floor.
Yeah, they up in East Lansing, when Juwan Morgan went down, the team seemed to rally around that, and everybody kind of stepped up and gave good production and good performances across the board, but then that went away. The next game he comes back, and it's kind of back to the regular same-o. And I think that somewhat it seems these guys have gotten too dependent on Juwan Morgan and Romeo to make the plays, and they're just not prepared to do it themselves now.
Well, I'm not sure. I'm not saying that's not true. I'm not sure exactly. I wouldn't necessarily say that because there are times when you see, certainly Devontae Green is not dependent on anybody. I mean, offensively, at times, he takes difficult shots. But, I mean, the problem with Devontae is that he's just as likely to make a difficult shot as to make a wide-open shot. So it's hard to always be super critical of the challenge shots or the difficult shots he takes. So I don't think that that's necessarily a universal problem. Again, I do think that that Robert Finney, for instance, although I still think that he's making good progress, I think you can see at times him lapsing back toward passing up open shots, which was a problem back in early December when they took their first couple games through league play. And I was at the Northwestern game, and I watched him pass up open shots, and I'm pretty sure he was schooled in that because after that game, that went away, and I think you see it coming back now. Again, I talked about the confidence level lagging, and that's what you see when you have a guy who's a legit shooter, and the ball rotates out of a first action, and it rotates back to him, and he's wide open, and he says, "No, let's just do another play or another quick hitter or whatever." That's not what you're supposed to do. I mean, if it rotates back to you after you go through the offense once and you're wide open and you're that guy, you got to shoot it. And we're seeing again, he's back to the point where he doesn't really want to. And that goes into the confidence level that I talked about. You lose 9 of 10 games, it's hard not to lose your confidence. And so I'm not being hypercritical of anybody who's in that circumstance, but I also know that the only way you get out of that problem is to start playing the way you're supposed to play.
Yeah, and that has not been the case. Like I said, they've lost 9 out of 10 games right now, and Rob Finney has had a good year, and I agree with everything you say about Rob. Seems like he just kind of hit the freshman wall a little bit. Of course, a lot has been asked of him. He's come in a year ago, he's playing in high school, and now he's running Indiana's team, which was not completely expected. But a lot has been asked of him. He's done pretty well for the most part, but I think that'll be seen more so next season when he comes back and he gets a year under his belt. But right now they have to continue playing this year, and there's still things to play for, and hopefully these guys can do what they haven't done a lot of, and that's step up and produce. I don't know what it's going to take to get them to do that because we're so far into the season now, and it's the same thing with defensive lapses. I watched that play, I bet, 10 times the end of that Ohio State game that you talked about earlier with Justin Smith, and I'm like, what in the heck is he doing? And it just blows your mind. I'm sure Archie Miller's got to be pulling his hair out because I know those are things that they work on religiously. And I don't – a player as skilled as Justin Smith is, and I don't want to point just to Justin Smith because it's a lot of things, but they're making mistakes they should not be making this time of the year. And I don't know what you do to change that.
Well, I mean, you keep playing, you keep practicing, you keep working on trying to get better. And again, as we said, look, the 9 out of 10 has been really difficult for IU fans and for IU's players and for the coaches as well. But if you did finish well, I mean, it would be remembered as a tough stretch that you recovered from. So that's how you do it. You keep working to get better. But that includes not just not failing on that last possession, but trying to get yourself so you're not in that position. And how do you get in that? Well, you got to be better early. You can't, they fell behind. There's a great line from Greg Doyle, the terrific columnist of the Indianapolis Star, when he posted the numbers for the first 5 minutes. of the Ohio State game. First half, whatever it was, down 12, whatever. Second half, down 8 or whatever. In that period. And he says, "Good thing there's not a third half." And he's right. That's they have to start those halves better, and it's, again, especially at home. That comes from walking into Assembly Hall believing you can't be beaten there. And probably the most amazing thing to me about Arch's first 2 years is that a year ago, when they walked into Assembly Hall with a lesser team than this one, when they walked into Assembly Hall, they were 10 to 15 points better than they were on a neutral floor. I mean, they didn't beat everybody they played there. They didn't beat there are a lot of great teams like Michigan State or whomever that they didn't beat, but they scared the life out of those teams. They played really well in those home environments. They made it very difficult for Michigan State team that went 30-4 to win. Now they walk in and they're actually, I wouldn't quantify it, but they're less when they walk on the Assembly Hall floor than they would be in a neutral environment. They walk on with less belief. And that's something, that alone, you could flip that and they could make the NCAA tournament. If you could just flip that, because that belief carries you through a lot. And you're not seeing that right now.
Absolutely. The great Mike DeCourcy from the Sporting News and the Big Ten Network. Mike, you got anything coming up that you need to talk about?
Well, we'll have Big Ten basketball and beyond on Sunday evening with myself and Stephen Bardo and Dave Revson, and we've got a slate of games tomorrow. We'll have pregame. We will not have pregame, but we'll have halftime, a post-game show, and the big show tomorrow with the Big Ten games that are on the schedule. Looking forward to that. We've got Northwestern Nebraska is our evening game, and we have Penn State Purdue at 4 o'clock Eastern.
Busy slate. You got to get Bardo to take you since you're going to be up there with Bardo. He's out getting the eats everywhere, so he's going to have to take you to a nice restaurant.
Steve's he's the travel guide there, man. I'm like Chipotle. Hey, Steve, you want to go to Chipotle? That's my idea of a great restaurant. So,
looking forward to it. Mike DeCourcy, thank you so much, sir. I appreciate you. Look forward to talking to you again sometime in the near future.
You bet. Thank you.
Thank you. Mike DeCourcy from the Sporting News and the Big Ten Network joining us gracefully. Thank you so much. We got a lot more coming up here. Stay tuned. Indiana Sports Beat's coming back with Todd Leary up next. Stay tuned. We're back right after this. Hello, everybody. Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat. When I'm not covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, located on the northeast corner of I-65 at Veterans Parkway. Bubba's 33 has hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer from a select list of local craft brewers. An incredible food selection, all made fresh daily. Whether you're meeting the team for that post-win meal in the family dining area or meeting friends for happy hour to watch the game on one of Bubba's 50 TVs. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
Many medicines used to treat colds and flu contain acetaminophen, a pain reliever and fever reducer found in hundreds of over-the-counter and prescription medicines. But taking too much or more than one medication containing acetaminophen per day can damage your liver. So always read the label and don't take acetaminophen if you drink 3 or more alcoholic drinks every day. To learn more, visit fda.gov/OTC pain info. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Food and Drug Administration.
This is Jim Coyle with Indiana Sports Beat.
And I'm Justin Kalen with Indiana Sports Beat.
Justin, what's your favorite show?
It's got to be Indiana Sports Beat, but I'm not ever sure where to find it.
Well, you can always like and follow us on Facebook. Always follow the show rebroadcast on iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify. TheDailyHoosier.com is a great place to sign up for it each and every day. Or, of course, on Big X Sports Radio, 1450, 96.1 WXVW in Southern Indiana, and 97.7 The Ref in Evansville.
If you want to get your day off to a good start, then stop at Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart on Highway 150 in Floyd's Knobs. While you're filling your gas tank, you could fill your own tank with a hot breakfast or try one of Billy Joe's daily lunch special. Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart opens at 5 a.m. and everything is made fresh daily. And if you bring your own mug, coffee is only 50 cents. And Billy Joe's also has free air. The best place to start your day is at Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart on Highway 150 in Floyd's Knobs.
All across the country, people are coming together to speed up what we can learn about health. The All of Us Research Program is calling on 1 million people to join us as we try to change the future of health. For your family, for future generations, for all of us. Visit joinallofus.org and find out how you can become one in a million.
All right, crew, let's get her dug.
Honey, want to give me a hand? I'm planting that tree, remember?
No matter how large or small your digging project may be, no matter how urban or rural, you must always call 811 before any digging project. 811 is our national one-call number, alerting your local utility companies to come out and mark any lines they have near your dig site. You must call 811 at least 2 to 3 business days before any digging project, so you can avoid hitting our essential buried utilities. This includes natural gas and petroleum pipelines, electric, communication cables, and water and sewer lines. So before you do this or this, make sure you do this. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811. Brought to you by Common Ground Alliance.
Today's guest is brought to you by Bubba's 33 in Clarksville with hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer. Pizza, burgers, beer. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Welcome back to Indiana Sports Beat here on this 15th day of February. Make sure you like or follow us on Facebook, Indiana Sports Beat. And if you can't catch the broadcast live on a great station like Big X Sports Radio, WXBW 1450, 96.1, or 97.7 The Ref, you can catch us on IndianaSportsBeat.com or TheDailyHoosier.com for a rebroadcast. GruelingTruth.net as well. iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Google Play. We're ubiquitous, as Justin likes to say.
Ubiquitous.
See, every time I try to say it, I screwed the name up. Lots going on this weekend. Indiana travels to Minnesota for a 2 o'clock tip tomorrow afternoon. You can hear that game right here. 2 o'clock Eastern time, 1 o'clock Central. Pre-game, of course, starts an hour before with Don Fisher and crew. And then also afterwards, you can hear After the Game with Todd Leary. That's on Facebook Live, of course. You can find that at Indiana Sports Beat or any of the fan pages usually. Hoping to talk to Todd today. Looking forward to getting in touch with Todd as he is traveling. Hopefully we'll be getting him in just a few minutes. But make sure you hit us up on the text line as well, 812-269-6367. Thoughts, comments, questions. You know, Leslie did that, and she agrees with Justin and his superstitions.
What?
Silly superstitions.
Nobody ever agrees with me.
I know.
Thanks, Leslie.
That's why I had to throw you a bone, man. Throwing you a bone. I know you got a high school games you're doing this weekend?
I do. I got North Harrison Providence tonight, and then Providence Brownstown tomorrow. A lot of Providence.
And then what's going on the Big X?
Well, I know the Brownstown Providence game is on Big X. That'll be tomorrow night. Tonight, I'll have to look at the schedule.
Plenty to keep you busy this weekend. Indiana takes on Minnesota, like I said, tomorrow. That's a game they have to win. We've been talking about this. We just got off with Mike DeCourcy from the Sporting News and the Big Ten Network. He said the same thing that I said. Yeah, they have a shot. They have a viable shot. Yeah. They just simply have to win some games. But that's the rub. I don't see them winning games. They've lost 9 out of 10. How the hell can I expect them to win 5 out of 7 or 4 out of 7?
Right,
like Mike said.
He said 4 out of 7, which I don't even see that happening.
Well, because if those 4 come against Purdue and Michigan State and Wisconsin and one of the other 2,
then you're adding wins.
You don't even have to beat. If you beat Michigan State or Purdue and Wisconsin, and you add 2 other wins to that, you're fine. They've got a lot of. They would have a lot of quality wins at that point. A lot of quality wins.
Yeah.
But we'll have to see what happens. I mean, I don't see them doing it because they haven't. I mean, the proof's in the pudding. We're deep into the season.
Hard to believe in something you don't see.
No, and you've only got 7 games left. They're fighting to stay out of the bottom to play on Wednesday in the Big Ten tournament. They're fighting to get into the NIT, much less the NCAA. It's funny. It's like it's either all or nothing kind of for this team. It's almost like they either make the NCAA tournament or they don't, because if you win less than 4 games, or if you just win 4 games, that's only 17 wins. Yeah. Now, if they split them, now you're back to 16 wins. You're back to last year, same team as last year, same records last year. I guarantee you, boy, you could have made a lot of money betting against that.
Yeah.
Lots of money.
Tim texted in the show, speaking of superstitions, said, why doesn't Archie grow a gut and gray out his hair in a red IU sweater?
I can see that happening, especially if that. It's probably not the people you think that I'm thinking. I'm not going to throw names out, but I think that's not just a definitive possibility. I think that's going to happen.
Yeah.
One for sure. And I think the late offer to Howard Beverly is an indication of that. I think Archie thinks he's going to have the room to bring that player in. And, again, until Archie gets his players in here, it's not going to get better. And the conversation with Mike DeCourcy about what was going on, particularly Justin Smith, is a perfect point to that. I thought it was me saying a lot of those things that I've been saying. He said the exact same thing. He just said it in a lot nicer way. But that game that he was talking about where he got faked out, that's what lost the game against Ohio State. That was that last play where, for whatever inexplicable reason, he thinks he needs to play on the high side of the high post to defend the basket and leave the basket wide open, which is exactly what he did, and the guy just rolled down, boom, lay-in dunk.
You know, one thing about Justin Smith this season is that I have not been impressed with is his defense. And it's not just that game. It's game in and game out. He doesn't defend with his hands up. He's I don't know. I mean, he
does not. I've noticed that. I mean, his defense has not been terrible, I'm going to have to say. But he doesn't do those things. None of them play with their hands up.
Right.
Have you noticed this?
Yeah.
None of them. Hands up in the lane. I don't get this. This is a basic fundamental.
Well, and
maybe I'm missing something.
That really stood out to the other night when I was watching the Louisville-Duke game, and that's the reason Louisville was in that game. They were hands up defensively the whole entire game. Deflections, using their length to get in the passing lanes. Indiana doesn't do that.
No, they don't. They seem like they are still 20 games into the season, whatever we are. 20-something.
25, 24.
They still seem like they're thinking on everything that they do. I'm supposed to switch here. I need to get this guy. I need to be 2 feet away from him. It seems like all that stuff is going through their head while the plays are going on. And you can see it. It's not – they are reactive, not proactive. And again, last night watching that Houston game, watching the ball swing around from the left side, the far left, far corner, along the baseline, across the baseline to the other corner. The guy in the corner gets the ball, looks to his left immediately, without hesitation, to a guy on the wing who was ready for the pass. He was ready for the pass before the guy in the corner got the ball. They had great ball movement, but everybody was anticipating.
Yep.
And it was very fluid, and it looked very fluid. You just don't have – they just don't have a lot of talent on that team. Davis should be starting over Justin Smith, but Mike made some good points. Have talent to run in there. Well, they do, but it's sitting on the bench hurt. Or fifth or sixth. They don't have that. And it makes a hell of a difference.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at a player over on the sidelines, Jerome Hunter, who very easily could have been that third option for this Indiana team.
I think he would have been, to be honest with you. I really, truly, truly do. It's easy to say, but I truly do. He's a great player. Man, he's a great athlete. He's very, very fluid.
Yeah.
Very fluid player.
Going to have some fun watching him next
I love
year.
his game. Hopefully we'll get to see that.
Yeah.
And then Race Thompson, no idea what that dude's like. None. 2 years he's been here. Haven't seen him play a lick. If you don't think that hurts you, it hurts your options. Even if you have a decent first wave, which they do not because they're not 5 strong. They're 2.5 strong. And if Rob Finney's having a good game, that'll make him 3 strong. And if Duran's in there and having a good game, now you're 3.5, 4 strong. That's as deep as they can get.
Yeah.
And that's if guys are having good games. So until they can get to the point to where you can count on your third and fourth guy consistently, and then you're waiting for somebody else to step up, that's when they're going to have a good team again. That's when they're going to have a good program. But not when you got 2 guys that are carrying the entire load, and the rest is just a huge fall off. And sorry, but Justin Smith is a huge fall off.
Yeah, and the main key word you said there was consistently. I mean, Indiana has gotten a lot of scoring outputs from the third and fourth guys, but it hasn't been on a consistent basis. Justin Smith, you've seen 2 or 3 games he's put up double-digit points. That's it, 2 or 3 games. That's not night in and night out like this team needs.
Man, he should have been the third option. No doubt. He's a second-year player. He's big. He's strong. He's athletic. He has the ability. It's upstairs. I mean, when you're still making the defensive lapses that's being made, to me, there's a lack of focus, a lack of intensity. No, there is no intensity. But individually, when you don't have that stuff, you can't play at a high level You can't play at a high level in Division I if you're not focused, if you're not driven. I don't see that from some of these players. Not all of them, but some of them. And without having more than what they have, you're not going to succeed. And they're not succeeding, and that's why. Because these other teams, they do have guys that are driven. They do have guys that are passionate. And that are not making defensive lapses 25 games into the season. That's the difference between winning and losing. And you want to blame Archie Miller? Why? Who's he going to bring in? I just talked about that. Who's he going to bring in? Who are you going to replace him with? Deron Davis is a great place to start, but he's got limited minutes. So then you got to bring Justin Smith in. Or then who are you going to bring in? Clifton Moore? It's not a knock on those guys. They're not there yet. They're not to the point where they can provide production.
And Archie has gotten a lot of unfair criticism this year for that very reason.
I agree. I think some of it's because they see people play, but we're far along, aren't we?
We are.
Well, that's pretty much going to wrap up the show, man. We got talking. Got to let it get away from us. Thanks a lot for sticking in with us today. We got After the Show with Todd Leary tomorrow at Live at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, and you can catch the IU game right here on this station, 2 o'clock Eastern, 1 o'clock Central. For Justin Kalen, I'm Jim Coyle. I'll see you on the radio.